What about making yours sound better?
Hello and welcome to the first segment of this course where we're going to discuss about compressors in general and what it does to your signal. But first I would like to show you some of the most popular compressors out there. One being the H compressor from Waves, and the other one is the FabFilter Pro C2 from FabFilter, of course, and the other one right here at the bottom is the compressor, a stock compressor of Ableton Live. So as you can see, they all have their own special features, special unique features. This one has an analog knob right here because this plugin is modeled after an analog gear. This one is a modern compressor. That's why it has this graph. It has this EQ right here, a sidechain EQ, so you can manipulate the frequencies of the source of the sidechain source. And as you can see, they all have similar features as well. They have threshold, ratio, attack, release, output gain, and so on. That's why it doesn't matter what compressor you're using right now to learn this. You'll still benefit from it because I'm quite sure that the compressor that you're using right now to learn this has threshold, ratio, attack, and release. These are the most common parameters in a compressor. So you're good to go. So first, what is a compressor? A compressor is an automated volume control. It automatically adjusts the volume of the input signal in response to changes in volume in the signal itself. Compressors are difficult to learn to use for several reasons. They have many different and unrelated purposes. They have complex mechanics of operation, and it's necessary to understand these mechanics in order to operate them. Now, before diving in to those mechanics, we first need to look at why you would want to compress a signal and what can we accomplish by doing so. First is reduction of dynamics. The most basic use of compression in mixing is to reduce the dynamic range of the input material. But wait, what is a dynamic range? A dynamic range refers to the gap between the quieter parts and the louder parts of a signal, right there. Dynamic range reduction is most commonly done on recorded vocal and instrumental performances. Reducing the dynamic range of a performance can make it sit in better in the mix. Soothing out volume fluctuations allows it to be more audible in each and every element, particularly if it's being played quietly in the mix. If you apply compressions to reduce the dynamic range of most of the tracks in your mixdown, then the entire mixdown will be louder. Compression is the most important tool for achieving loudness in the mix. So let's have a listen to this one. This one is an example of an audio that has a high dynamic range, because if you look at it closer, you can see that the quieter parts and the louder parts are far from each other compared to the compressed one right here at the bottom. You can see the result after being compressed. Now it has a lower dynamic range. Let's try to hear it. The first one would be the uncompressed.
They guard our schools, the malls, our houses, the gates and the plazas. They are present to protect us. They are trained to do what's right, doing good all day, all night, patiently just standing, checking things if it's in order, though they don't know what is coming.
And the second one is the compressed version of it.
They guard our schools, the malls, our houses, the gates and the plazas. They are present to protect us. They are trained to do what's right, doing good all day, all night, patiently just standing, checking things if it's in order, though they don't know what is coming.
The second one would be shaping percussive sounds. Compressors can also be used to modify the amplitude characteristics of a percussive sounds, such as drums and pluck string instruments. For our purposes, a percussive sound consists of two distinct parts, an attack and a body. Right here is an example of a percussive sound. It's a loop. This one right there is the attack, and the one that follows it is the body. A compressor can be used to change the balance between the attack and the body of a percussive sound. It can bring up the attack or it can bring up the body. Bringing up the attack of a percussive sound will make it punchier, but will also reduce its perceived loudness and presence in a mix. Bringing up the body of a percussive sound will increase its perceived loudness and presence in the mix, but will also make it less punchy. So let's try to compress it so you can hear the difference. So right now we're at the default setting. We're going to use a preset here on the kick drum, punchy rock kick. So I want you to listen to the kick drum right here. Let's try to put this on a different place. With it off, on, see the difference? Now the third one would be creating a pump effect, right? So there are plenty of ways that you can achieve the same thing. For example, this. It has a pump effect because I placed a kickstart by Nicky Romero. But if you turn this off, on, it's also necessary to know when not to use a compressor. Sometimes compression is just not the right tool for the job. Always remember that a compressor is just an automatic volume control. If you find yourself struggling trying to get the compressor to do what you want, ask yourself if you can achieve the desired effect more easily with manual volume adjustment, just like this. You can automate this, and you can lower down the louder parts and boost up the quieter parts. So now I hope you have a better understanding, a clear understanding on what a compressor really is and what it does to your audio. For the next video, I'll discuss more about the parameters, basically everything that comprises a generic compressor. So I'll see you in the next video.